Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen him down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for the raise. Got a mill, now they coming with a blaze. Check the numbers, fam, I swear I'm getting paid. I'm a Don just like the Perrier. It's one time when I'm looking at a face. On the low like I'm pushing up the bass. Come down and I'll meet him at a gate. Got a check and I bought myself a place. They get some money and they blow it on bait. I don't flex but I'm pushing all the weight. Told them all I swear I got it's what it takes. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late.
Hey, yo, Jay, can we get some ratchet one time?
Look, I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the please. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peace, you gon' see the flex when you hear these writtens. Trust me, you know the difference. I got a long ways to climb before you see a slippage. I see the process and the journey I'm supposed to be, but perplexed, cause I don't really see nobody close to me. Hopefully this ain't wasted and I know it ain't. You gotta take the time for seasoning to marinate. You need the patience under pressure just to detonate. I'm trying to blow up and these heathens need to get it straight. Gifted with a vision and precision, I'm just trying to make it high key. Might be breaking free like I was Zion in some Nikes. Tucked at the crib, bro, you know just where to find me. Making beats and spitting crack verses pretty likely. Yeah, socks with the burst, boy, I ain't changed a bit. Normal guy till I die, you know what it is. You probably thought I'd give up now that I got some kids, but really now I got these arrows aiming at your ribs. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the stop, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas. Hey, please be on the notice, these my motives. Bought my chicken and it's rotis. You parsimonious, you take it all cause you a locust. My focus is to grow this mission. A visionary, get a dictionary. We here off the ribbon, we ain't sharing, we just caring. Let me speak it to the manager. We damage her, no you ain't messing with an amateur. I'm ramming, the competition, they ain't standing up. They fanning from left to right cause now they branded us. Now who that is? Mike Jones, they ain't want me now, they all on me. Got counterfeits trying to play me, I guess they thinking I'm Sony. These big head dummies showing up and out of their character. Homie, you need a price cause without it the squad ain't hearing you. Top of that, we ain't fearing it. We swinging for the fences with the sting of a left hook that connects with Sonny Liston. I'm dismissing any and all of the disrespect. Nonetheless, it ain't a threat, I'm just letting y'all know who's next. I don't wanna talk. How you try and press the kid and really you was soft. All you know is capping, homie, you don't know the law. Pedal to the metal, you ain't catching me in park. I just hit the start, I don't wanna speak. Talking all that good, so I just hit you with the plays. Running up the score like Tyreek, I'm going deep. Watch me how I'm saucing, I be spreading it with ease. You gon' see the peas, you gon' see the...
Coach, what's next for me, Joe? I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f*** is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Space shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, though they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up from my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in mine, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Mafia, what are we going to do with this thing? What are we going to do with this thing, guys? We got the dump to the downside. Now, if you guys watched last night's live stream, I'm going to give homework to the Mafia guys. If you did not see last night's live stream, please, for the love of God, go watch that stream. I even wrote down the timestamp. So you don't have to waste your time. Start at about 18 minutes, guys, and watch it through till about, however long you can stand it. But, guys, we were looking at some very specific things on the charts, and my general bias was the fact that we could potentially continue up locally based off some low time frame money flow with our 8-hour green dot printing. But we also had those bearish signals popping up on the even higher time frames, like the daily bearish divergence, the 2-day red dot and bearish divergence with the 3-day bear div and the red dot printing, as well as our 4-hour money flow coming to the downside. Those were some of the major things we were looking at, making us obviously locally anticipating the continuation up, but overall looking for that lower high to potentially come in to give us another drop to the downside. And we haven't made the lower low yet, but it does look like we did get that rejection directly from those key levels, guys. I was going to show the clip here on the live stream, but it just feels like a waste of time. But go back and watch that video so you guys can see what we look for on these charts to predict these moves before they happen. And we're going to break down everything on Bitcoin. I want to talk about the short position that I took with the premium Discord right before the dump. But unfortunately, guys, I got stop hunted like a dang like I've been trading for 3 days. I got stop hunted. I feel I'm almost embarrassed. But I'm going to show you guys the truth of trading. Sometimes you just get stopped out before price goes in your direction. So I'm going to cover that trade. I'll also go over what I'm expecting next here on Bitcoin. Are we about to drop down to some lower levels? What is that next key level we're looking at? We looked at this yesterday as well. But I want to go over it with you guys and talk about, is the bull market over? Oh my God, is the bull market over? Everybody's so scared. And obviously not impossible. Not impossible that the bull market's over, but obviously you guys kind of know where I stand on that. Nothing really specifically has happened yet to really confirm that the bear market is here. Obviously, when you look at the charts here, it is, shout out to Kaj said, watching Bitcoin take a dump while I do the same. Yo, I walked into that. I didn't even read that whole chat, but shout out to Kaj. Good luck, brother. Good luck. I hope you're having a good time in there. But anyway, guys, we're going to cover the live price action here. We're going to talk about the dump. Where can we go? JD thinks we're going to zero. Are we going to make it all the way to zero? Oh, God. Oh, God. But we're going to cover all that for you guys. We'll look at the key levels, where I'm expecting price to go next. But shout out to the Candle Mafia. Thank you all for tuning in. I tried to fix my audio. I think it's good now. You guys should be able to hear me loud and clear without me blowing out your eardrums. But thank you guys for being here. Let's see. Shout out to Marek, I'm sure I butchered that one, said top never lasted for more than 11 weeks. Shout out to you, bro. And yeah, we're going to take a look at that. We got Tyler Durden in the chat. We got Rob the Crypto Snob, Chemistry Bro. Tyler Durden, you guys know who the mods are. I think I already said Tyler Durden. Show him some respect in the chat. We got I'm My Hero. What is going on? Said I'm going to buy 3 BTC at 0. I got some limit order set down there. I'm not going to lie. But anyway, let's see. We got Jesse in the chat. He is our like police guy. So don't forget to smash that like button. If we get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream, we will be giving away $150 in Solana, even though everything's going to 0 and we have no money left. But we're gonna get the last of what we got to the Mafia. Let's see. We got Crypto Monkey in the chat, said 97.5 would be beautiful. Yes, we're actually going to talk about a key level very, very close to that we've been watching. We got B&E channel, said, did you guys all know it's like 116 million shares that we get? Shout out to B&E. Shout out to B&E channel. I'm not 100% sure exactly what you mean. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob checking in. We got WV in the chat, said, let's go from SoCal. Hey, shout out to SoCal. We got Huddle Crypto in the chat. Pennywise, everybody's favorite friendly clown. But guys, oh God, we got a whole lot to look at here on Bitcoin. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. Salute to the mod. Shout out to Hollow Crypto. Let's get it, baby. Let's get it. Yo, $5,000. Shout out to Boss. BTC to 5K. But let's go ahead and go over what we got going on here today, guys. Now, I'm going to start off here on the higher time frames. Now, obviously, as you guys know, what we've been looking at here very recently is 2 major ranges, right? We have our overall larger macro range, which I will pull up right here. You guys know we've been looking at this for quite some time. We spent a lot of time in this range before trying to break out. We are still attempting to get out of here. But we have our major range down here where we have our key level of support, which we are kind of trying to play around with right now at about $100,800. And then we have our local range that we've been looking at for the day trades and the shorter term trades right up here on this consolidation. But before we get into those local levels, guys, I want to pull up those higher time frames once again and just talk about what we were looking at on yesterday's live stream. Now, remember, guys, we do have some bearish signs on the chart that we were looking at. Obviously, we have the daily bearish divergence with our higher highs on our price action, with our lower highs on our momentum waves. Obviously, this does give us a bearish divergence, which is typically a signal that we are going to get some kind of a push down to lower prices. But not only that, guys, this has been confirmed for quite some time here, and they did wind up giving us that bigger drop down. However, we also had that 2-day bearish divergence, which we were looking at yesterday, which we are now printing that red dot, giving us that bear div here with our higher highs on price, lower highs on our momentum waves, and then we creep up to that 3-day bearish divergence again, right? And then that 4-day red dot is also looking to print here. So these are just some of those higher time frame bearish signals that we were looking at. And even here on the 16-hour, guys, you could see we were getting those bearish divergences, another thing that we were looking at. And when you look at the context here on the higher time frames where we have our larger range down here, with this could potentially be, right? I was going to say could have been, but still could potentially be just a deviation above this volume profile before we get a push back into this range. And we're going to talk about the importance of this value area high, even though we've been looking at this forever because we've been around these prices for quite some time. We've come and attempted to break down back in here, and then we did it yesterday, and now we are coming back down for another test. But, this could just be looked at as a deviation above our high, which could open the door to get back inside this macro range, get stuck under that value area high with a potential drop down into this POC, which is going to be another big zone of support. I'm going to bring that up in just a second. But I do just want to say, guys, if we are unable, let's assume that we are going to break down below this value area high. If we get sucked back down towards this POC, guys, this is an absolutely critical level to hold. And the reason for this is obviously based off the volume profiles. When you deviate above, this is where you want to be looking for shorts. Oh, that word's going to hurt my feelings for the next day or so. But this is where we're typically looking for shorts to get that acceptance potentially back into our larger range, get that move down towards that POC. And if we're not going to get a bounce off that POC for a massive move up and a higher low on our price action to continue the overall trend up into new all-time highs, losing this point of control, which is sitting at about $97,400, this could potentially give us, in my opinion, if we lose this level, and there is confluence down here, I'm going to bring it up in a second, but if we lose this zone of support, guys, in my opinion, it is likely that we are going to get a very large drop on Bitcoin. And by very large, I mean by normal people standards. For me, I just see these drops, these pushes up and pushes down as pushes down. These pushes down as opportunities to get into some trades and make some money. However, for the spot bags, for anybody who's been buying up here, this is going to be absolutely brutal because if we lose that POC, it does open up the opportunity to get that larger drop down to our value area low, where we do have some more confluence, which again I will bring up, between about $91,000 and $90,000. Nobody wants to see Bitcoin drop down to $90,000, but we do have some support levels below where we could potentially put in those higher lows and continue again our overall trend to the upside. That first major zone of support obviously is going to come in our typical level that we've been watching. Every single time we drop down, we're like, hey, we got this key level down here between the point of control of the main range and that golden pocket retracement. And this zone does sit between about 97,440 and about $96,362. This is going to be, if we get stuck under this value area high, and I'll get into this in a minute, if we do come down here, this is our first opportunity to potentially put in a higher low before continuing and hopefully breaking out of this range and coming up to all-time highs. If you want price to go up, that is what we're looking at if we get stuck inside this range. But overall, if we get stuck inside this range, guys, it is pretty bearish, right? If we get stuck under the value area high, you're looking at least a potential drop down to the golden pocket point of control. And then once you start losing that golden pocket, the only level that could potentially hold us up if we do not want to see that bigger drop down towards 91 to 92,000 or 91,000 to 90,000 is really our 786 retracement, which is confluent here with a weekly horizontal level. So if we're going to come down here, we would hope, right? If you're a bull, you would hope that you can hold this potential level of support, and that if you lose this zone of support, we could potentially come into that 786. That's another opportunity to look for a higher low. And I'm going to bring up this entire theory because this is how we were able to predict this lower high coming in. And I guess we would have to make a lower low to kind of confirm that is going to be a continuation of the downtrend. But we don't know if we're going to put the higher low in at the golden pocket or the 786, or I guess generally we don't know if we're going to hold it at all. But if we're going to put those higher lows in, guys, it's got to come in inside this Fibonacci retracement zone. And the first zone is sitting there between 97,440 and 96,362. We lose that, I am going to be looking down towards this weekly and 786 retracement sitting between about 94,500 and 93,429. And again, these are zones. There is confluence on these levels. Actually, let me see. Where's this anchored VWAP sitting in these days? Yeah, not great. Not great. But those are going to be the next levels of support. And again, I would really hope that we can hold this POC because it's not uncommon to see here, guys, that Bitcoin, it's not uncommon to see Bitcoin or altcoins to go to break out of the range and then come back down and test that POC before getting the move up. Did we just power up, guys? What the heck is going on? I think we just powered up. Okay, never mind. We didn't power up. But anyway, Whiff got cooked. Shout out to Hack. Yeah, we will be taking a look at the altcoins in just a minute, guys. Let's see. Kalina says that's not a cash. I don't know what that means. Yeah, this is, we lose that value area high, guys. Just in general, it is somewhat of a bearish sign because we could potentially fill that range in full. So that's why I would really like to launch off that golden pocket. If not, this is kind of that last-ditch effort to put in that higher low. But again, I would really much prefer to bounce off that golden pocket. And if we lose that level, I'm going to, sure, I'll be taking stabs at longs down here if we get those confirmations. However, at that point, you're already below your POC. And we know once you lose that POC, it's going to be much more likely to get a suck down towards that value area low, which is also confluent. What is our confluence down here? Daily naked point of control and that value area low. So that is going to be definitely a big key level to watch. But that is what we're looking at on the higher time frames. And again, with another big thing we were looking at yesterday for a potential continuation of this downtrend was this money flow crossover into the red. Now, when we look at this, guys, the money flow crossover into the red indicates the overall trend is likely to continue down, right? We use this as a filter. Money flow indicates the overall trend. So when we have these red money flow crossovers, especially on a time frame like the 4-hour, you're going to expect that downtrend to continue in the context of that 4-hour time frame, right? Looking for lackluster pushes to the upside. If you watched last night's live stream, you will understand that will sound like a very familiar term to you. But lackluster pushes to the upside into key levels of resistance to put in a potential lower high and then get another drop to the downside, breaking structure once again, pushing into that key level, which is going to be that point of control. And you might say, well, Frank, we already came down and tapped that point of control. But really what happened here, guys, was that we came down and we actually front ran this level by just a little bit. And more often than not, it's not impossible to just front run key levels and then go. However, statistically, it is much more likely to come down and tap that key level. So technically, we have not tapped that level in full, right? We have not physically touched it. So if we get stuck underneath here, it would make a lot of sense based off the volume profile, losing the high, going to the POC. Also would make sense based off the 4-hour money flow, continuing our downtrend, right? Putting in that lower high and making another lower low into this next key level of support, which is that POC golden pocket. And I think we do have do we have another? I thought we had another level down here. I guess not. But it would make a lot of sense based off many things to potentially, if we get a move down, to look to push into that level. And again, I will be looking for long positions down here. As always, if I don't get the confirmations, we're probably going to go lower, lose that POC, and head down towards these next key levels of support. So real quick, if you're here for the larger key levels, guys, POC golden pocket, one more time, 97,440 to 96,362. The next last-ditch effort here, 94,5 to 93,429. And then at that point, again, my general thesis would be, once you start losing that golden pocket, it is more likely, not that you can't bounce here, but it is going to be more likely to maybe get a lackluster retracement to get a push down towards that value area low, which, again, nobody wants to see. Now, would this make me call for a bear market? Not necessarily, right? It would just be continuation of our consolidation. But those are the key levels that we're looking at. Now, bonus level here is the level that we're kind of trying to reach out of right now, which is that value area high of that macro range at about 100,800. Now, obviously, this is going to be a level of support until we wind up losing it, right? Sometimes we can bounce off these levels until we finally get underneath, and then it get accepted into the range for that bigger drop down towards the POC, which, again, based off the 4-hour money flow, based off the higher time frame red dots, is definitely not impossible. Now, remember, guys, we do have FOMC tomorrow, I believe. Today is Tuesday, I think. Yeah, hard to keep track of the days nowadays. But, tomorrow we do have FOMC, so that is likely to give us a lot of volatility. So be careful out there. I don't know exactly what that volatility is going to bring. Typically, we see like a massive rip up. Usually, there's just like a big fake out up and down, right? You'll get a massive rip down, massive rip up, massive rip up, massive rip down. So be very careful tomorrow. Maybe we'll come down to some of these key levels. If we do, maybe we need that volatility to push us down into that key level to look for that next long position. But right now, Bitcoin, I'm going to break down the lower time frames and talk to you guys about what I'm expecting locally here. But key level right now, we came down to that value area high. We are getting a bounce out of here. We lost this daily naked point of control. If we turn this into resistance, we may be able to get lost inside this range and then get that bigger drop down. Now, to bring up the local levels here, guys, I'm going to pull up that local range we have. I'll hide these other levels to clean up the chart. Now, as you guys know, last night on the live stream, we were talking about, and again, I highly recommend you guys go back and watch this stream because pretty much everything we saw wound up playing out. Now, again, this doesn't mean that every single time we look at something, it plays out, but more often than not, the TA is on your side, at least puts the odds in your favor. So what we were looking at yesterday was the 24-minute money flow crossing into the green here. Yeah, right here. This is where we were basically live seeing that money flow crossover into the green, giving us the possibility of a continuation to the upside with the overall context of putting in a lower high and then continuing back down. And those two major key levels of resistance, actually, I think I might, let me see here. I think I might actually have the, might not be there anymore. Yeah, it refreshed. I had a frame pulled up where we were actually looking at these levels, but when we were looking at this, right, looking for the 24-minute money flow to cross over into the green, give us that continuation to the upside, which it indeed did, right? We wound up putting in the higher low, higher high, right? And then we even came up here and swept that liquidity. And is Buddha Candles in the chat right now? Buddha Candles was talking about a potential SFP of this wick right here at about $103,250. And we actually wound up almost seeing that perfectly. It wasn't, we wound up seeing that almost perfectly. You could see here, we had that wick sitting right here, and we kind of came up, that 24 4-minute money flow wound up giving us the local continuation up with the idea of putting in a lower high and continuing down. And the key levels that we were looking at for those lower highs was either going to be this golden pocket or that 786. When we look for lower highs to come in on the market, guys, we are always going to be looking at the golden pocket 786. But we got that local continuation up based off that money flow, and we got above that golden pocket, and what happens? We push right into that 786 with a pretty clean swing failure pattern of this wick right here, or even the wicks from above here. We kind of ranged around, SFP the high, and then got that next drop to the downside. But it did come in. The two levels we were looking at, we said we don't know if we're going to get the lower high in at the golden pocket or if we'll wind up getting it at the 786, and it wound up being that 786. And again, we haven't really broken the low here just yet, but it is definitely in the cards here, guys. So we are kind of right on track here for that little local continuation up, for that lower high, and a potential continuation down. And again, with our 4-hour money flow here, another thing we were looking at yesterday, we had that 4-hour red dot now printing. So we'll see if we can continue that move to the downside. But you guys have those key levels that we're looking at now. Obviously, on the contrary, if we were to, for some reason, get some real strong support here on this value area high, like your key levels above remain exactly the same. Again, although I would be expecting the continuation down based off money flow, but the idea would be, to hold this value area low as support, and then hopefully get that bounce back into our range, flip that value area low, and then get our move back up to some other key levels. And I'll be honest with you guys, even if we come up here to these next key levels, we are not necessarily out of the water. I want to talk about another big key level of resistance we have up here, a larger golden pocket retracement where we could put in a larger lower high before continuing back down. So we're seeing that local TA play out perfectly. We'll see if we can hold this value area high, at least locally. But again, I would be very, very cautious here for the moves up. But if we did get that move up, obviously your value area low right here is going to be your key level to get above, sitting at about $102,300. Once you flip that to support, you can look for a continuation up locally. So I'm going to take these off the chart, right? Because we've already come up. We rejected the 786. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these off the chart here just to clean things up. And yeah, let's see if we can reclaim this daily naked point of control for that potential retracement. But yeah, key level 102.3 is that value area low. That's the level to get above to potentially push into. Let me just make sure this is not a fresh weekly level. Yeah, this is a tapped weekly, so I'm going to hide this. But if we get above that value area low, guys, again, I'm not going to get super, super excited just yet, because if we do wind up holding this daily naked point of control, coming up to the value area low, even if we flip this and get the bigger move up, guys, we have a lot of confluence up here. Not only do we have the two daily naked points of controls right on the POC of the range where we spent almost all weekend here, but not only that, guys, if you pull your full, right, the levels that we rejected here were local retracement levels. But if you pull from the all-time high all the way to the low here, you can see your golden pocket retracement is in perfect confluence with all three of these other levels. So, if we do get the move up, next major level of resistance will be this golden pocket daily naked point of control POC confluence. So let's assume, right, let's pretend that we know that we're going to come up here, flip that value area low. This would be another potential area to put that lower high in at before potentially getting another drop to the downside. It's very hard to say what is going to come next here, from a medium time frame standpoint. But these are the key levels to watch on the chart. Once we break above these daily naked points of controls and flip them to support, sure, you have your value area high. Sure, you have your 786, but I would see that as a decent sign for a potential continuation up. Now, as always, I will treat this as a volume profile, right? If we come up to the value area high, we get bearish signals at the 786. Technically, this is another level that you could potentially get that bigger rejection from to put that lower high in and continue the downtrend. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's attack the levels that are somewhat tangible at this point, which is definitely going to be this zone sitting right here between 105.6 and 104.918. And again, like we didn't know, right? We could have easily held this value area low, come up here to put the lower high in, and then got the drop down. But maybe we're just going to get it from these local levels first. But I'm really happy that we looked at those local retracements yesterday. It's always hard for me to know if I should be bringing up the hyper local levels, the big levels. I assume most people are probably not scalping the 1 minute time frame, so I try to cover a little bit of everything. But there's that nice drop to the downside, guys. And I did have a risky short setup here in the premium Discord, entered aggressively here on a potential breakdown of this value area low, guys. And I'm not going to lie, it hurt my feelings, guys. It hurt my feelings because we wound up, I looked to grab it, get into this position with some confirmations, right? I was saying, took a super risky, aggressive short entry here, tight stop on this. We're at support, more of a breakout trade, which I don't necessarily really love to take, guys. I don't like breakout trades unless there's a decent confirmation. Small loss on this if it stops out. And although we do have some confirmation at the highs, this is obviously support. I don't like breakout trades, but I'm going to take a gamble here. If we drop, gonna see if we can get to 101.5. Jumped into that position, guys, and then it wound up playing out great, right? We had some bearish CVD at the highs. I won't go over the confirmations really, but we wound up getting that to play out absolutely beautifully to our golden pocket. I moved my stop loss to break even, and then the brutality happened, guys. Price came back up. It stopped me out like an absolute dunce. Stopped me out by a few bucks here and then just went in our direction, letting the Discord know, like, really, Bitcoin, sick. But took a very, very small loss here, guys. You know, I share my losses as well, but if you watch this channel, like, you know, $78 on a loss is like, this is my break-even trade, right? This is basically just fees. But stop that at break even. But yeah, I haven't felt that in a while, getting stopped out before your price goes in your direction. But obviously, yeah, that was pretty brutal to go through. I have not felt that in a very long time. But simply put, you can't catch them all, guys. Sometimes they get you. Sometimes the market makers stop you out before they send price in your direction. But, you know, full transparency here, guys. I share my losses as well. I don't win every single trade, even though I was correct about the TA and, you know, price going in that direction. But just got stopped out by a few bucks. Should have had a little bit of a wider stop loss there. But risk management is absolutely key. But really, I do press transparency here. We don't win every single trade, although sometimes it does seem like that. It is definitely not the truth, guys. I get stopped out of my trade sometimes, even when I get, stop hunted like an absolute beginner. But it's okay. It's all right. We're not tripping. It definitely isn't bothering me. Like, for sure, not upset about that. So if anyone's wondering, I definitely don't care. But anyway, that was pretty nice for anybody who caught it, but I got stopped out before the move. And here we are, right? We got the drop down to our targets, and then 100,800 was that next target, and now we're getting some kind of turbulence here. But definitely going to be a little bit careful here, guys. And again, going into FOMC, obviously, if I was still in this short position, I would have held this with my stop loss and profit, or with at break even with profits taken. I would be willing to hold it into FOMC. But as of right now, tomorrow is likely to get very volatile. So if you're out there trading, please, for the love of God, be very careful. Use your stop losses. You're likely to see those whipsaw candles, and they are going to very likely stop you out. So let's see. Bada boom. Shout out to Golden Child. You know what they say. You get the entry price you deserve, JK. Shout out to Golden Child. Let's see. FOMC pump coming. Hey, here's, if we're going to pump on FOMC, like, again, very likely, guys, it's so hard to predict this stuff. That's why I have my traps set on the trade, on the chart where I will be looking for my trades. If price pushes down into those traps with confirmations, I will fire on the trade. That's a beautiful thing about having a strategy and actual confirmations that you look for. You know when to take a trade, right? If you don't get the confirmations, you sit out of the trade, and more often than not, it plays out in your favor, right? And vice versa. But very hard to call exactly what will happen. Like, maybe we do get a pump, but very likely we might see volatility to the downside first. So very hard to call, like, hey, we're going to pump on FOMC because we might dump and then pump. So I don't really want to put a direct answer on that just yet. But I think we're going on Randy's show tomorrow. So if anybody watches Randy's show, I will be on there, I believe, around 1 p.m. So, come hang out with us. It's going to be a good time. We love Randy, so I'm really excited to go on her show. But, if we get off in time, maybe we will live stream FOMC. I might still be on her show at the time, but we'll see what happens. If I'm free, I will go live for FOMC, or I'll try my best. But we'll see what happens here, guys. We'll see what happens. But you have now the next key levels, other than, like, local scalps here. Like, if I'm going to take, like, a DGen low time frame scalp, other than those trades, the major key levels of support and resistance is really going to be that POC golden pocket, and then the golden pocket daily naked points of controls sitting up here. So, around 104 to 106K, down to about 97.4 to about 96.4. So we'll see what happens. I am really just waiting for those key levels to get hit for the next big trades. But there we go, guys. Oh, snap. Frankie's getting zesty. Yeah, we're going to get super zesty. I think we're cooking. I think we're going to make, we're making cookies on her show. It's going to be super fire. So yeah, definitely come check us out. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Alejandro. What is going on, bro? Welcome in. He says, Frankie, when you update the volume profiles, why don't you use the candles that are in the chart to the right? Can you explain on fire with heat maps and divs on the value area high, value area low, TP on the POC? Let's go, Alejandro. Let's go. We're throwing money for you, bro. Let's get it. Shout out to Alejandro using what we teach on this live stream to make himself some money. Shout out to the volume profiles, and shout out to those liquidation heat maps, guys. When you combine these strategies together, you can get into some super, super high probability trades and start making money trading trading Bitcoin whether price goes up or down. But yeah, we're going to take a look at altcoins here, guys. We'll keep an eye on Bitcoin, but that's really what I'm looking at. Maybe we come up, we get back in here, and then we get the dump. Maybe we come down here and then get the pump. That's kind of that's what I'm playing personally, and who knows? Maybe we just rip out of here. But again, I said this yesterday. Is it possible to? And again, I highly recommend you guys go back. Started about 18 minutes on last night's live stream and look at what we were looking at and my general bias. Because I know only a few people are going to do that, but it'll enable you to learn what we look for on these charts to call these moves before they happen. But even last night on the live stream, we were saying, hey, is it impossible to hold this value area low and yoink off into all-time highs? Not impossible, but with the higher time frame bearish confirmations that we were seeing, it is more likely to look for that lackluster retracement into lower highs on the golden pocket 786 and then get another drop to the downside, which is exactly what we wound up seeing. So we'll see if it gives us the lower low. We'll keep an eye here during the live stream on this price action if anything crazy happens. And then let me go ahead. I'm just going to put some alerts here. I just want to get notified if we break this low. And I also want to get notified if, let's say, it's coming down to a lower time frame. Yeah, we'll see, if we wind up cracking above these levels here as well. So we'll have these on the chart in case we wind up getting a move here. Oh, can I not? What is going on here? All right, well, we'll just have the one on the low there. What the heck is going on here? Boom. All right, so we'll see if we get that drop to the downside. We'll check in on Bitcoin periodically here throughout the stream, guys, but I do want to take a look at some of the altcoins. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. I was going. And shout out to Alejandro. The reason I do not pull my volume profiles to the current price action oftentimes is because the way I trade the volume profiles, I don't want to go over this in full right now because I've explained it so many times on the live stream. It's going to be very redundant for a lot of people. But we do have a tutorial. Tony D, if you could drop our volume profile tutorials or one of the mods, if you guys can do that, that would be absolutely fire. We have volume profile tutorials in our beginner series showing you exactly how I use these tools, how to set up the settings, and how I actually trade them. But in short, I use these volume profiles to find balanced price, right, which is in between when price is basically ranging. So when price impulses out of a range, I stop that profile, right? So I stop those candles there because I only want to incorporate the balanced price action, right? So once we impulse to the downside, I don't want to incorporate the volume traded on these candles in that profile, right? Because that is just imbalance, right? So if I were to pull this, say, to this low, might not change it too much. Yeah, it doesn't change it too much because it wasn't that big of a drop. But more often than not, I am looking at these previous volume profiles just to highlight where the previous area of balance was, because this is how we trade the markets, right? We look to go from an oversold situation, right, back into fair value. But that's basically the gist of it. But if you check out that tutorial, you should be able to I explain everything in full detail. So, but with all that being said, let's see. SEI is a hot mess. Please don't show render. It makes me sad. Oh God, now I have an impulse to pull up render, not to upset you, but just because I haven't looked at render today. So, but yeah, let's see. But yeah, with all that being said, guys, drop your favorite altcoins in the chat. We will go ahead and Rob, the Crypto Stomp, will count out the votes. Rob, let's do like 3 requests. I'll go over some of the main altcoins that I want to look at, and then we will go ahead and jump into the list. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. INJ. Yeah, we could try to take a look at INJ. Okay, so here come the altcoins. But guys, first off, let's go ahead and check out Ethereum here. Coming back down, I mean, not really too upsetting here, right? We were in our major range, our local range here. We got the drop down into our next key level of support with the 786 value area low confluence. We got the first little bounce off that 786, but again, very similar to Bitcoin. You're going to be looking for those lackluster retracements to put in lower highs and then continue that move back to the downside. Again, are we going to break the lows? We haven't yet, but if we do, that next key level of support still remains, right? Like really not much to update here on Ethereum. Value area low at basically $3,000, right? And then once you lose that value area low, going to be looking down towards that high volume node, which is the danger zone. The danger zone, guys. And if we wind up losing that danger zone, that is where I would be looking down to about $2,700 to $2,600, where we have our previous value area high, 786 confluence. And then, again, if we get stuck into that range, that $2,600 level eats at $26,000 level, sitting at the point of control here at 2,600, right? 2,615. So those are like the, if we're looking at the next major levels to the downside on Ethereum, definitely going to be, that $3,000 value area low. And then just keep in mind you have this key high volume node, because if we go ahead and pull up our visible range volume profile, you can see once you lose that high volume node, you have a very, very large volume gap leading you down, back down into this blue zone, right? So that's my thought process. If we lose the range, maybe you bounce off the high volume node. These shelves, I don't want to even call it a high volume node. It's really a shelf of volume. That's kind of the idea of the high volume node. But again, it's not that high. It is not that high, guys, right? It's basically a big gap. You have that little peak in volume. So that's kind of your last chance to get a bounce. But again, if you lose it, probably just going to continue that quick move through that low volume gap from about 3,000 down to about 2,730. And, again, we always say this, right? Quick moves up oftentimes lead to quick moves down. So you do have to be aware of that volume gap. Maybe we can even draw this out. So, yeah, I mean, really you have one low volume gap here, right, from the value area low to the high volume node, and then you have another low volume gap. Basically, again, it's basically just one big volume gap with that little bit of support in between. So we'll see if we can fly right through that box. But that is going to be likely if we break down below that high volume, this little, I don't even want to call it a high volume node. I'll call it like a little spike in volume. So we'll see if we can hold it. But, again, definitely in the danger zone once we wind up losing that value area low. But other than that, we take a look at Market Cipher B. I'll take that volume off the chart here. I'm going to get rid of these boxes. I don't think it's, I think it's pretty clear that, this is basically a void that could cause that big drop, right? But if we take a look at Market Cipher B here, money flow crossing over into the red, guys, and on a daily time frame. I always say this when we look at higher time frame. Money flow, right? This is, in a binary fashion, right, this is a bearish signal and would make you anticipate a continuation of that downtrend to lower prices, right? Now, in a bull market, sometimes you can get that fake out into the red and then it just an instant pop back up into the green. And this is the same thing that we were looking at on Bitcoin last night, right? We had the money flow on the daily coming to the downside. But again, when it comes to money flow, guys, it is all about the direction, right? This is very clearly trending to the downside. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the alt list. I appreciate you, bro. Let me go ahead. I almost put you in timeout. I always almost click that. Where are we? Boom. Okay, so it's all about direction with money flow, guys. We're trying to kind of front run where that trend is likely to go. And with the money flow crossover into the red on Ethereum on the daily, the anticipation would be at the end of the day to look for lackluster retracements to the upside for a downtrend to continue based off that daily time frame and that money flow crossover. Now, the hope is, right, just like we talked about on Bitcoin yesterday, was like, sure, could we get that rip out of our range into new all-time highs? Maybe, right? Like anything can happen. However, you would have to be banking on all those high time frames, bearish signals just not playing out, right? Like you'd have to just trade against the TA, which is just generally what I don't do. So right now, this is definitely a bearish sign unless we just get, hashtag bull market to come in. Maybe we get FOMC volatility and this thing just starts screaming and you get that fake out back into the green. But again, I can't take that, I have to just look at that as like a possibility, but I have to trade what I see on the charts here and that money flow crossover into the red. Yikes, it doesn't look good, guys. So two-day looking for money flow to come to the downside as well. Now, we don't have the bearish divergences like we do on Bitcoin because obviously Ethereum's just kind of been trending down here. And then taking a look at the 3-day, right, money flow's kind of in the red. VWAP's been below that zero line for quite some time. But again, just shout out to the volume profiles, guys. Like these levels do get respected. Flip that low to support, POC, value area high, deviate above, look to come back into the range, get stuck into the range, go back to the low, right? Now, we'll see what happens. But I will say this, right? You don't have any like significant bearish divergences on the higher time frames like we do on Bitcoin. So that is like a little nicer to see, at least on Ethereum. Weekly red dot on Bitcoin. This is actually something that we were looking at on, when we had this green dot printing on the weekly. That was a pretty nice sign. We had the money flow coming out on the daily, but we had that green dot. But this is now getting completely swallowed up by a new red dot on the weekly. So we don't have that on Ethereum, but we do have it on Bitcoin. So that's just like another higher time frame bearish signal. It is interesting that we don't have it on Ethereum here. So I don't know exactly how that's going to pan out. Maybe, I don't know. It's it's very hard to say. It'd be extremely speculative to try to call something based off of that. But just to give you guys that idea, it is not looking as bad on the higher time frames, but it definitely doesn't look good, right? Daily looks very similar to Bitcoin. And again, if Bitcoin dumps like in a big way, Ethereum's likely to follow here. So, and you could just see this kind of low volume gap that we have here, right? Quick moves up oftentimes lead to quick moves down. So these are definitely going to be the next key levels that I'd be looking at if we send to the downside on Ethereum or Erythrium, as your grandmother might call it. Let's see. Shout out to Crispy Dev, said, Frankie, can you hold and cradle me? Come on over here, Dev. Come here, buddy. It's okay. I'm here, man. I'm here for you. But it's okay, guys. We can make money to the downside as well. And unfortunately, I'd be showing a nice short trade here today if I didn't get stopped out by a dang dollar here, guys. If I didn't get stopped out, I'd be, it would just hit a little harder when I say we make money when it goes down. I hate not being in trades on live stream, but it's okay. Don't want to chase those trades. And I will say, guys, I do like to just kind of share the transparency of me as a trader. I know it probably seems like, Frankie doesn't have any emotion when he trades, right? Sometimes that is the case, but let me just tell you, right? For this little short position, especially because I was right about the move, but just got stopped out first and then it happened. Please understand, I feel these emotions, right? Like I so badly want to revenge trade my way down here, but I simply don't, right? Even though I still have those feelings, I'm able to step on those feelings with just discipline, right? Like I don't care if we get the move down. I'm happy to miss it if I get stopped out. I don't want to enter here at the, oh my God, we're losing the value area high. Oh my God, panic short, and then you get stopped out again, right? So, I'm happy letting that move go. We make money trading these tiny little moves, and we don't really need, right? Price is kind of irrelevant when it comes to my lower time frame day trades. I'm not saying price is irrelevant on Bitcoin, right? For my investments, my longer term bags, obviously it's important, but when it comes to the day trades and the leverage trades, guys, we just need the volatility, whether it's a 5% move up, 5% move down, a little 1% move, 1% move down. It doesn't matter, right? We just need price to move to make some money. So I don't care if I miss this move to the downside because I can catch a long back up or I could wait for a retracement and catch the next short position. And once you understand that and you trade for long enough, you get a lot more, it gets a lot easier to just let price go, right? Because I've spent many years trying to chase trades and get wrecked and stuff. And after a while, you realize it doesn't matter if I miss this big dump, right? I could just catch this big pump, right? Oh my God, I missed a big pump. I can catch the short, right? And if you don't do that, you can always catch the little moves, right? So there's always another opportunity on the chart. So don't let those feelings pop up, creep into your trading. And just to let you guys know, I 100% feel this stuff, right? I just have the discipline to not act on it. So keep that in mind. But anyway, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on. We took a look at Ethereum. Let's take a quick look at Solana. I mean, again, really not much to update here on Solana, right? We were here yesterday was the 27th on the live stream where we were kind of got that drop down towards the POC of the macro range, very similar to Bitcoin. We front ran that POC, but at this point, right, we're inside our larger range. So we actually didn't even make it all the way up to this Fibonacci retracement, which would have been a key level to put in a lower high and continue the downtrend. Missed that by a couple of bucks. You probably just rejected a local, probably this one, yeah, local golden pocket. It's very, very, you kind of have to look at these actively, find out where your local retracements are. But we were looking at this swing high from up here. Didn't make it all the way up there. But at the end of the day, we're stuck inside this volume profile, guys. And as long as we remain below this POC, right, the doorway to, below this value area high, this POC golden pocket confluence is going to be in the cards here. So next support level is going to be sitting right here. Golden Pocket POC confluence between 217 and 212. Same levels we looked at yesterday. And then the key level of resistance, I would still be looking here at that value area high, Golden Pocket 786 confluence. And until we wind up breaking out, I'm just going to be playing this as a trade. Not that I actively trade Solana very often, but that's how, if I were day trading this, right, that's kind of how I would be waiting for those next major key levels. And then if we lose that golden pocket, very similar to Bitcoin, right, can't get back above that golden pocket POC, we would be looking for that bigger drop down to the value area low, 786 retracement between $196 and $190. And some change, right, on 196.28 and 190.41. So that's the key levels on Solana. And to be quite honest with you guys, looking real similar to Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? Money flow kind of coming back into the red here. This has been a little bit more choppy, but Still money flow in the red, so bias would remain the same here until proven otherwise. And it's okay, right? Like if we wind up getting a massive rip out of here, say FOMC, it's like a 98% chance that they pause the cuts. And maybe we get shocked and we get a massive rip to the upside or something like that. And if that were something crazy like that were to happen, just understand, that's okay, right? We could just change our plan. The TA is not right 100% of the time. And we could just change our plan. And if we were to just rip up to all-time highs, which again is not my expectation necessarily, next key levels, if we break the high here, would be 304 to 324 into this Fibonacci extension zone. But again, we're pretty far away from that, so it's not really what I'd be looking at. But again, is Solana dead? I mean, I don't hate this from a general perspective, right? If I go ahead and hide this TA real quick, put this in a folder, right? If I hide this, right, I'm just looking at this from a Fibonacci standpoint, right? And like you're like, hey, well, this wouldn't be too shabby, right? Like come on down to that golden pocket, hold that higher low, continue up. Are you seeing something recognizable here? Something that we looked at on Bitcoin, right? Like this is an opportunity to potentially put in a higher low. So this isn't like that necessarily that alarming. The only reason I would say it's a little alarming is because we're now stuck within this range. So we know that if we don't bounce here, we could just fill that range in full. And even at that point, right, like does that mean like Solana's going to zero? Not necessarily, right? You're like just back inside your range, right? This is just mega boring. Now I know if you're buying Solana up here, this could be extremely, extremely painful. But, just from a structural standpoint, this golden pocket would not be like super alarming to come hit. Just to put that in perspective for you guys. Okay, there is something about volume profiles going into folders here that makes them go away. I don't know what it is. I don't know why that volume profile is gone. Let me re-pull this. Boom. There we are. Okay, so there we go. All right, that's what we're looking at on Solana. Coming up to the higher time frames now. 2-day bearish divergence. Now, this does look a little more similar to Bitcoin here. Higher highs on your price action, lower highs on your momentum waves. That's your bearish divergence. Not too shocking now, looking in hindsight, to see that drop to the downside, or maybe not even in hindsight. I don't remember a specific time, where we exactly hammered this home, but very likely we went over these. I just don't like saying that we did if I can't confirm it. But if you go back in the live streams, we probably did look at this, right? Bearish divergences, obviously, going to be looking for that drop to the downside. Now, again, this is on our bodies of the candles and our wicks as well. So yeah, very, very similar to Bitcoin. So sentiment would remain the same there on Solana. So just really waiting to come down to these next macro key levels. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Wick589. Welcome in, bro. What is going on? Good to see you. Says, Mike, coffee tastes so much better now that it's 25% more pricey. Thanks, Mr. President. Shout out to Wick589. Did coffee prices go up? Shout out to Wick589. Let's see. Wick says, Kay is going to pioneer some new poetry. Hey, some more poetry. Shout out to Wick589. If you guys don't know, Wick is he doesn't like to, he's a humble guy, but he is a famous poet. And we actually got blessed with one of his famous poems on Billy Goat Tales not too long ago. Shout out to Billy Goat Tales every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Don't forget to check that out. But yeah, that's what we're looking at on Solana here. Let's see. Shout out to Mr. Market, said 16-hour naked point of control at 92,300 and 200-day moving average is what I'm watching on BTC. Well, let's go ahead. I'm going to hop into Bitcoin real quick. Mr. Market, you are Mr. Market, right? So we have to take what you say seriously, bro. So let's go ahead and see. 92.3. Okay, so not getting too far away from my next key zone where we have a daily naked point of control at 91.5. So not too far off there. I don't typically look at 16-hour naked points of controls. Not that you can't. I typically look at daily, weekly, monthlies. But yeah, I believe you, bro. I believe you that it's there. So maybe we can hold that. There was actually a local before we got the bigger rip up. There was a local 786 sitting right down at that level, which is now I realize it was a Fibonacci level that is obviously not going to be the same now because we pushed up. But I actually wondered if our level came in near there. So shout out to Mr. Market. Yeah, definitely not. If you got the NPOC there, just have those levels. Set your traps. Look for the confirmations and take those trades. Shout out to Captain Kirk, CandleMafia, Mama in the chat. What is going on, Cap? Good to see you. Said, wifey, don't lie. I've seen his OnlyFans page. Wick, do you have an OnlyFans page? Is it only poems? Shout out to Wick589. Let's see. Shunzin said, we're getting wrecked. It's all going to zero. Let's see. Let's see. Jesse says Wick is great and his wifey is a gem. Shout out to Wick's wife, Fine 89, who I got to meet on Billy Goat Tales as well, verbally, which was awesome. Shout out to Wick's wife. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into our next altcoin, which is going to be TIA. Let's take a look at TIA here. Actually, let's take a look at XRP first. Let's jump in here. Where's it at? XRP. Okay, so here we are on XRP, because that's where we look at XRP, is on the XRP chart. God, what is up with these volume profiles just disappearing on me? What the heck is going on? Okay, so here we are, right? Obviously, we got that drop down to the golden pocket, which was our next major support zone, which is really nice to see that big jump back up for XRP here, guys. Now, again, obviously, our key level to hold here was that point of control. Obviously, we had our value area low here as well, but when you have that value area low POC very close to each other, I like to look at it as a zone. Tried to get up here, could not hold it, and now we are potentially looking to lose this range here. Now, if I pull our fibs here, let me pull our full retrace. Actually, let me pull. This is kind of a weird, wonky range here. So yeah, what was this? Yeah, I probably would pull this one. So yeah, 786 rejection here. Yeah, I mean, is it a possibility of a lower high and a continuation down to break structure to the downside? Potentially. Let's check these higher time frames. Let's look at the daily real quick. Yeah, money flow coming to the downside here. However, I will say this on XRP. This is worth noting right now. Obviously, money flow is trending to the downside, right? You cannot ignore that. So, this would technically be, bearish. Obviously, not crossing into the red just yet, but obviously, this is clearly trending to the downside, showing money leaving the asset. But look at this VWAP shooting right up to the zero line here. And I will say, for what it's worth, again, you don't want to forget money flow is coming out, but God, this daily candle's insane. This daily candle is absolutely ridiculous. Like, just look at this, guys. Like, this is such a wish-washy market. It's insane. But if we get that green dot on the daily, I will say this. I would take this with a grain of salt. But if we get that green dot on the daily, just with the way Market Cipher B looks here with this momentum wave, it does look like we could potentially put in a lower high here on our momentum waves. Now, is it possible to put a lower high on the momentum wave and just continue to come down? Absolutely. But if we are going to look at this as a potential front run of a bearish divergence, how are we going to view that, right? Well, we're going to view that as looking for the bearish divergence to come in, which would potentially call for a break of structure to the upside to put that higher high in on price as that lower high on the momentum wave forms. Now, obviously, we need the green dot on the day with a print. This can get rejected at the zero line. It's not even printing yet, but if we get that green dot, I would watch it, right? Again, I wouldn't put a high probability on this because you're basically just fighting your money flow, but it does look like we could potentially form a bearish divergence, and we use that same exact technique to predict the break of these highs for XRP to push up into that 331 level, which we did wind up getting, right? So we were able to successfully do that, but now obviously we have the 3-day bearish divergence confirmed. You have the 4-day bear div printing. You have the 5-day bear div printing as well. 6-day bear div printing. Weekly bear div printing, right? So it's, again, so, I would definitely take this with a grain of salt, but we'll see. Like, maybe we get a fluke. If that happens, I would call it a fluke. But, it is potentially looking like that could, maybe set up. But again, that would be fighting a ton of other bearish confirmations on the higher time frame. So again, take that with a grain of salt, but we'll see. I'm just more interested if we could potentially see that. Just so we remember that we were looking for it. So there we go. We'll see if we can get that. But again, I would definitely put low probability on that. But until then, guys, if we can't get back inside this range, could look for that continuation down. 4-hour money flow in the red here, looking, again, very similar to Bitcoin. A lot of stuff looks similar to Bitcoin, obviously, as far as Market Cipher goes. But yeah, other than that, I would be very careful, especially with FOMC tomorrow. Who the heck knows what's going to happen here? Again, high likelihood of crazy volatility happening here. But that's what I'd be looking at. Your value area low. Value area low is sitting at about $3.07. Now, that's technically the key level you'd want to get above. But again, we're looking at that POC. I'm going to get rid of this Fibonacci retracement just because we already rejected. But, you get back above that POC, sitting at $3.11. Possibility to come up to the value area high. But again, there's a lot of high time frame bearish confirmation. So if we can't get back above there, ooh, baby, could be looking for that bigger drop to the downside. Now, your next major key level on XRP, if you were to see that bigger drop down, obviously you have your value area high underneath that golden pocket that we already tapped. Let me tighten up this level a little bit, make it a little bit more tactile. So yeah, if we lose that golden pocket, technically you have your value area high here at 259. Lose that, I'd be looking down towards the 786 POC at about 240. Kind of similar to the Bitcoin range, golden pocket POC confluence, and the Solana POC golden pocket confluence. Very similar, but it's a 786 POC. So technically that's the next major level to the downside if you get stuck back inside this range, which is obvious when you are looking at those volume profiles. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Redman, said that dog will hunt. Hey, shout out to Redman. I guess you know what a GSP is. Grew up with those my entire life. I hunted with German short hairs my entire life. Shout out to GSPs. Best breed on earth. But anyway, let's see. Shout out to Jonah Lang. Welcome into the chat. Says 1.1K viewers and only 300 likes. Oh my God, guys. Smash that like button I don't want to say every 100 likes, but if we get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream, guys, from 3:30, we could at least get up to 700. If we can get to 1,000, I'll give away $150 in Solana on Friday night's live stream. And if we get it again, every day we get 1,000 likes, we'll add another $150. So smash out that dang like button. It's the easiest and most free way to help support the channel here. If you learn anything, here or you appreciate the value that we give here for free every single weekday and the tutorial videos showing you all the strategies, exactly how we trade here, drop a like for us, guys. It helps out a ton. Shout out to Mikey20 said, who's deleting my comments? Shout out to Mikey20. We see you, bro. I don't think anyone's deleting you unless you said some crazy stuff in the chat. Maybe they hit you for a minute. But shout out to Mikey. You're not banned. We got you, brother. We got you. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, let's continue on. Let's take a quick look at... Oh, XRP was on the list. So let's take a look at TIA real quick, guys. Oh, my God. TIA is going to zero, guys. Oh, my God, guys. We lost our key level. But no, who knows? Maybe we're going to zero. But, yeah, TIA, guys. As you know, yesterday we were looking at TIA, talking about how important this key level of support was and how we really wanted to hold this because, guys, just underneath us here, we have a massive volume gap. And if I just go ahead and pull up the VRPV, the VRVP, or the Visible Range Volume Profile, you guys can see here that for the most part, there is not a lot below our swing low here. Now, again, does this mean if we lose this low that we're guaranteed to get a huge drop, a fast drop, a nuke to zero, or I guess in this context, it would be a nuke to about $2 and I probably wouldn't go all the way to the low here. Probably about 267 would be like the major zone to be looking at. Listen, you can form your own support, right? You can find new value. So it's kind of hard to say, but this is a very large volume gap here, all the way down to this little consolidation that we had all the way back in November of 2023. So this is definitely a danger zone, guys. We talked about this yesterday. We really want to hold this daily and weekly. And I'll be honest, like if you have a last level of support that you want to hold, a daily and a weekly is not a bad thing, right? Like you're like, hey, at least it's a weekly. At least there's a weekly in there. It's a high time frame level. But if we lost it, we are coming down very quickly to this wick low, which could potentially cause a big liquidation event, because you have to understand we probably have a lot of liquidity sitting below here, and once those longs wind up getting stopped out or liquidated, it is going to cause a lot of market sell pressure, which could cause a very quick move to the downside. And when you look at this in terms of a volume profile, we understand that price likes to stick to the high volume nodes. You can see here we stick around here for basically ever. Huge high volume node. We stick around here for a little bit. You get a nice high volume node. But when you have these big gaps in volume, oftentimes you see quick drops to the downside. So again, can you form new value down here somewhere? Yes. But for the most part, this is definitely a big danger zone. And the only real level that if I were to pull up anything like some kind of a high volume node, and again, you can see it's like barely even peaking out here, I would put that level here at about $3.36. So if we lose this wick, could wick down to this level very, 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 very quickly through that low volume gap. And again, I don't want to say put a lot of weight on that, right? Because again, there's not a ton of volume down here. So definitely in the danger zone, guys. Hopefully we could just swing fail this level here, guys. Definitely in the danger zone. Now, let me go ahead and pull a bada boom. Let me just go ahead and pull this fib real quick. This would be, I doubt this is going to be the case, but okay, yeah. Ooh, yikes. Yeah. Yikes. Okay. So yeah, hopefully we don't have to see $2.40. But let me see a little bit more of a local retracement here. Yeah, let's see a little bit more of a local. Yeah, we lose that probably between 340. Like, this would be the next level of support that I would look at. You have a nice fib level here, right into that, shelf of volume that's barely existent, right? Again, I would put like low. I'd probably put more faith in that fib level than the volume node. But, if we lose that wick, this would be kind of the next zone I'd be looking down at between about 349 and 336. Now, coming from a market cipher perspective, money flow's been in the red here for quite some time, right? We've kind of just been wiggling down here. We did not get a daily bullish divergence. That is now quickly getting invalidated. And let's come up here to the 2-day. Yeah, I mean, this thing is, on Market Cipher B, this is super, super oversold. Now, contrary to what a lot of people think, this is not, it does not mean that you can't continue down, right? A lot of people, they get into trading, right? They get into crypto, investment, whatever it is, right? And they just like, I can just look at the RSI. Anytime it's above this level, I can sell. Anytime it's below this level, I can buy. It's not that simple, right? Obviously, because you can remain oversold or overbought for quite some time, right? You were overbought here. You peaked out right here, and then you stayed above the line, and you wound up making new highs. So, obviously, if it was that easy, we would just code a bot on an RSI and make $1 billion. But, it is, at least they're a little bit oversold. Maybe we can get some kind of a retracement, but this is definitely not that great of a look here. Losing that daily and that weekly. So we'll watch this wick. I'm actually going to put a alert here. God, I don't even want to set this alert. Tia to 0. Bitcoin is going to effing 0. Anybody know Dan Pena? Our man, our angry man. Shout out to Dan Pena. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking at here to the downside on Celestia. And again, higher time frames here. VWAP's been under the 0 line for quite some time. And I'm not going to lie, back here wasn't looking too bad, right? We were getting a green dot. Money flow was starting to cross over into the green, and it just got stepped on. So we'll see what happens here. We got the alert set. Just watch these key levels to the downside, and hopefully we don't have to visit them. But that's definitely going to be probably the next stop. And again, like I said, that low volume gap is very, very, very scary. So there we go. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Shout out to Golden He said, this is the worst. This is the worst. Scoop and Tia here, buying the fear, baby. Let's go. Shout out to Spanky. Let's get it, bro. Let's get it. Okay, so let's continue on here. We took a look at Tia. We took a look at XRP. We took a look at Ethereum, Solana. Let's take a quick look at HBAR. Bada boom, bada bing. Let's see. Where's our HBAR chart? Okay, so here we are. Let's zoom in a bit. Let's come up to the 1 hour real quick. I believe this is our current. Yeah, this is our current HBAR chart. Why is this not pulled to the high? Bada boom. Oh, so we must. Wow. Hang on a second here, guys. I guess that is our HBAR chart. Why is that fib not pulled? All right. Well, I'll just fix that. Right. So we had our golden pocket. Whoops. Golden pocket was that first key level of support, right? And again, this is pulled from the low to the high. Got the bounce off the value area high. Got the bounce off the golden pocket. Couldn't hold it. Once you lose that golden pocket, where are you looking for price to go? Well, you're going to be looking for price to go to that 786. We didn't come down and hit it, but obviously if you lose that value area high, you're looking down towards the POC. So we lost that golden pocket, came down towards that POC. Now we're getting stuck inside this volume profile. So if we can't break back out of this level here at $3, let me fix this a bit. If we can't get this move out of this value area high at about 31 cents, I would be looking for a bit, or whether we come back up here or not, right? Like whether we come up and test it and can't get back above, or we just continue down. The next key level is obviously the POC. We've already tapped it, gotten another rejection in. So really, the next level I'd be looking at is that 786 sitting at about 28 cents. Now, if we don't hold that level, guys, probably going to be expecting a bigger drop down on HBAR. Now, this does not mean, right, necessarily, I don't want anyone getting freaked out, right? This does not mean that I am saying HBAR is definitely going down to this value area low, right? Because, again, when we look at these 786 retracements, they are an opportunity to put on a higher time frame, right? You'd have to look at this in a little bit of a higher time frame to not freak out, right? You would be looking towards that 786 for a potential higher low, just like on Bitcoin, to continue that move to the upside. I mean, maybe pulling into these extension targets between 43 cents and 45 cents, right? So you have to understand the context of your levels here, right? But the volume profile gives us a very, very clear roadmap, right? Like, if we don't wind up bouncing off that 786, we couldn't hold hold the golden pocket, right? If we can hold that 786, the drop down to that value area low sitting at 26 cents is going to be very likely, right? Because, again, like you only have to go back so far to see. Get back into the range, back to the POC, right? A little bit of turbulence, but eventually you get back down to the low. Then you go from the low to that POC, flip that POC to support, get a move into that value area high, right? Deviate above, go back down towards the POC. You didn't hit it. You deviate again, back to the POC, back to the low, back to the POC, back to the low, right? And then you get another fulfill the range. So again, it's kind of the same thing here, right? You get stuck underneath here, go to the POC, lose the POC, could be looking down towards the low. But potentially, if I were looking for longs on H-bar, this would be the next major level I'd be looking at. So there you go. Taking a look at the higher time frames on Market Cipher B. Money flow coming out. Very similar to Bitcoin. I don't want to spend too much time on that because it all looks very similar. Money flow coming out here. That would make you anticipate lackluster retracements to the upside. I'm actually going to get rid of this golden pocket because it's tapped. So I'll actually get that off the chart. We'll keep the 786. I'll get rid of this. Obviously, that support zone got melted through. So let's see here. Do we have confluence? Hopefully. I mean, probably, if I had to guess. Not really. Not really. Let's come down to the 4 hour. We might have a local swing high. Yeah, maybe this local fib. Yeah, so, it's kind of hard. You don't really have nice confluence here on the value area high. So I would just look at that value area high, 31 cents as your key level. And then again, break down, look for the value area low. Daily does not look great, just like Bitcoin, but, lackluster retracements to the upside before putting in lower highs and continuing down might be the case here with that money flow coming out on the daily. All right, let's see. Shout out to Captain Kirk, says, KK fam, gotta go, I assume to work. Gotta go to work. Love y'all. Shout out to Cap. Thank you for stopping by, Cap. We love you, and thank you for stopping by the live stream. Have a great day at work, and yes, please be safe. Keep those dang prisoners in order. Shout out to Captain Kirk. What a cool job, right? I don't think I've ever talked to a sergeant, actually. She's not a captain anymore. She's a sergeant. Peak. Yeah, we could take a look at Peak. Let me write down some honorable mentions here for the altcoins. Can we take a look at the monthly time frame on BTC? Yes, we can. Sure can. All right, let's see. Peak. I spelled it like the word peak. I don't know why. Shout out to Stain, says, noticed you have logarithmic activated on your charts, Frankie Candles. Yes, I do. Is that on purpose? Yes. It basically just compresses your price action, right? So, yeah, for sure. Definitely, just to show you guys the difference here, obviously this looks like a massive run up, which it was. But yeah, you hit logarithmic, and it just kind of compresses the price action. Makes it cleaner to look at. So yeah. Latest thoughts on BTC. We can do a little quick check-in here on Bitcoin. Yeah, daily naked point of control here. 101, 197. Got to get back above that. Inverse head and shoulders, right? Again, not a huge pattern trader here, but yeah. My bias remains the same on Bitcoin. But yeah, if we get above that daily naked point of control, maybe we can work our way back up towards the value area low. But yeah, definitely a key level of resistance here. Taking a look at the monthly. I forgot who asked for this, but yeah, we could totally take a look at the monthly here. Yeah, Red Dot looking to print on the monthly as well. Monthly bear div as well. This is a difficult situation, guys. This is a difficult situation. Let me hide the TA so I can just draw fresh here. Boom, 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 boom. Right? So we have that higher high on our price action. Technically, I mean, this is more of like an exaggerated bear div where you have equal highs. I like to see these be lower highs. Now, again, the monthly takes obviously a lot of time to develop, right? So, we have 3 days left to print another monthly candle. Are we going to get that red dot? If we do, you could potentially see that momentum wave come down a little bit, giving you a nicer bearish divergence, in which case it might be time for a bigger shakeout. Maybe the top of the bull market. Again, I am always in the camp here, guys. I look at information on the charts. I never, ever, ever, ever am just going to sit up here and say, something is impossible, right? Is $110,000 the top? Not impossible. I will say this, I do think we are a little further into the cycle than most people realize. And that's just my opinion. I could be wrong about that. But I do think we are a little bit further along than people know. But could 110 be the top? It's not impossible, guys. Anything is possible here. And this is what makes a good trader, right? Being able to understand that nobody knows 100% what's going to happen. And in my opinion, I always say, if you're going to watch content or you're going to learn about trading or just crypto in general, you want to kind of stay away from the people who are saying that they're certain of things happening, right? Because literally the best traders in the world, I don't know if there's a way to measure that or if there is a best trader in the world, but some of the best traders in the world will be the first people to tell you that nobody knows 100% where price is going to go. Even the best technical analysts, right? A good technical analyst understands that the point of TA is not to guarantee know where price is going to go, right? It's just to put the probabilities in your favor. Things could look super bullish here, and the bear market could come in. Things could look super bearish, and we can push through it. That's always a possibility. I base things, mostly based off technicals with a little bit of a mix of fundamentals and the 4-year cycle mixed in there. But this is obviously the fate of Bitcoin, guys, is going to rely heavily on the stock market, right? If the stock market takes a huge nuke, right, likely Bitcoin is going to follow, right? There's just no real... there's no way to kind of prove that wrong, right? Because every situation the stock market is obviously very, very correlated to Bitcoin, or Bitcoin is very correlated to the stock market. So just keep that in mind. Could this bear div be the top? It was the top in 2021. However, I've gone over this before. I think you guys know why I would be handling this a little bit differently. It doesn't line up with the 4-year cycle. Also, we have a lot of bullish catalysts coming up. Just because we have this monthly bear div doesn't mean like that could just be a potential shakeout, right? Before another big move up. Because again, on a higher time frame here, guys, we really have to dump to start breaking significant structure where I'm seriously worried about the market. Again, when in doubt, guys, zoom out, right? Now, again, you want to try to snipe the tops if you're looking for them, right? And we did get an SFP of this high here as well, which is what we've seen in the past as well, right? SFP the high. SFP the high. Now, again, I'm not calling the top here, but, again, anything's possible. But, in my personal opinion, there's not really anything, we're in a massive uptrend here. We really got to start nuking down for me to be worried. And, another kind of easy thing that you guys can look at is the bull market support band, right? You can pull this up on the weekly, right? So this actually has moved up to about 87K. This was actually hovering around our golden pocket. This was hovering around our golden pocket retracement here, which would have been really nice to tap. I guess it is still kind of down there. But, I would have actually preferred to come down and tap this golden pocket when we dipped down on January 14th when we got this big push to the downside. I would have preferred to come down here and test that bull market support band again before coming back up. But this is really an easy way to kind of, if you're not familiar with market structure or how to pull your fibs, etc. This is kind of an easy way to, look at the health of the bull market, right? Typically when we're above that bull market support band, bull market's on, right? Doesn't mean that you can't slip below it, right? We were above it for so long, then we slipped below it, came back up for the SFP or the liquidity sweep above the highs before going into the bear market, come back up, flip it to support, test it again, get back above it. And even here we played around with it a little bit. So obviously it's not going to be the second you lose it, the bear market's on. But it is a huge level of support. Once you really start losing this, that's where things get a little suspicious. But again, this is sitting at about 87, almost 88K now. So even if we drop down to 88K, you do have some significant support. And even if you slipped it slightly, we'll at the time, obviously I'll keep you guys updated. We'll be looking at key levels underneath the support band that we could potentially bounce off of. And you guys will be up to date on the TA there as well. But yeah, definitely got that potential bear div printing on the monthly. I'd be honestly shorter, medium term, I'd be more concerned about this weekly bear div that's printing, right? Again, that could cause a pull down, but again, it doesn't guarantee that it's the top. All right, let's see. Shout out to Scottish says, when people start saying end of the bull run, we fly, load up tomorrow after FOMC. Yeah, shout out to Scottish. I mean, it comes as simple as just buy fear, sell greed, right? It's one of the hardest things for people to do emotionally, but it is one of the best things you can do. When people are scared, running for the hills, that's when you want to buy. And I can tell you this right now, there was never a time where people were more scared than down here. And this is where I was buying my Bitcoin, and I wound up being the best decision ever. So yeah, even here, everybody was calling for the bear market. Oh my God, it's all over. We're never going to hit 100K. 75, but 74 was the top, which obviously was not the case in my head, right? I was saying, hey, guys, nothing crazy has happened here. It's just a pullback. You got to anticipate these pullbacks. If you bought up here and you're down massively, it's more of a result of where you bought rather than the actual health of the asset. And what happens? You come in and put massive new all-time highs in. So At least if this was the top, and again, this is not the camp that I fall in, guys, based off of what I just explained. If it does wind up getting worrisome, I will be the first person to let you know. I promise you. But, if this was to somehow, for some reason, wind up being the top, at least we got 100K finally. So that'll just put, everyone want 100K back here. That'll just go to show, everyone was calling for 100K here. We didn't get it. We got it in this cycle, right? Now everyone's calling for 200K. Maybe we'll get it next cycle if this is the top. But yeah, it just kind of goes to show you like how ahead of themselves people get, just calling for 100K. But anyway, let's see here. Let's see. Great TA, Frankie. Shout out to Spaceland. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the kind words. We're here every single weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come hang out with us, baby. But yeah, H-bar. Sorry, guys. I got a little sidetracked there, but it's important stuff. But taking a look at H-bar. Oh, yeah, we went over H-bar. Let's take a look at peak real quick. And peak here, still safe on my peak. Still up on my peak here. I did take a pretty risky shot just buying in on this pre-sale dump. But yeah, peak front ran its not value area high. Front ran its high volume node here. Pull up that VPVR real quick. Right. So we have this last little high volume node. I mean, this is your next key level support. If we did come back down there, this would be an area to look at for a bounce. Now I will say this, if you look at this volume here, you can see, right? We're kind of stuck on this high volume node right now. Like these are two high volume nodes, right? HVN, right? If we get above here, volume kind of opens up for a potential push into that value area low. If we keep getting stuck underneath here, which I'll be honest with you, I'm not liking the sweeps of these highs. Could be that move down to that next high volume node. So this would be the next key level of support. That is sitting at about 30 cents. And I'll be honest, it's not even really that significant of a level. Really, your next significant high volume node doesn't really come in until right here at about 27 cents, right? So I'll actually grab this. I'll put this here because that is going to, I would probably start this as a zone, right? So if we did get a pretty big drop, this would be the next zone to the downside. If you lose this high volume node. But you can look for a bounce here. Maybe you hold it. Maybe you don't. If you lose it, very likely you come down into this 28 to 27 cent zone. And this, I think, would be getting pretty close to my average entry on peak. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. I'm going to keep these local ranges on the chart. These aren't organized, so I'll just deal with that later. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking at. As far as our TA on the higher time frames, we have a daily green dot printing right now, so maybe we get another push to the upside. But again, I would be careful. Money flow is crossing into the red here. We don't have a ton of information to go off of here on peak, but if we get that push to the upside, value area low at 40 cents is going to be your next major key level of resistance if you can make it up there. But again, this money flow would make you anticipate potential lower highs and continuations down. So definitely watch these next key levels of support. Can't really get much above the daily because there's not enough price history. So yeah, 4-hour money flow has been in the red for quite some time. I mean, hey, money flow indicates a longer-term trend, guys. I mean, you couldn't ask for a more perfect example of that, right? Money flow comes into the red, and you just continue your downtrend. Absolutely perfect. So yeah, just like when your money flow crosses over into the green, you continue your uptrend. Absolutely beautiful. So yeah, that's what I'd be looking at on peak. Not too much to really give there as far as the other than the key levels. Because I wish I can come up a little bit higher here on the time frames, but we just don't have the information. Let's see. Whiff is cooking me. Shout out to Hack. I might need to go back to Uber. Whiff, please. We got to keep. Hey, shout out to Hack. We got to keep him out. We got to keep him off Uber. Uber's fire. But let's take a look here. Let's see here. All right. So on Whiff. When was this? Was this? Oh, I thought this was yesterday. We looked at a potential setup on something when we were waiting for a daily bearish bullish divergence. Was that with? It may have been. It may have been here, right? Looking for that daily bullish divergence on with here at the value area low. But you didn't get your green dot, and that momentum wave absolutely tanked. And now technically your bull div is, I obviously would not be trying to catch this. This would be catching a knife at this point. But you have massive lows on your price action, massive high, some kind of a higher low on your momentum waves. But again, you didn't get the green dot here, so obviously that is a massive confirmation you would not have gotten. Not that it would have mattered if it just got stopped out with the confirmation, but we didn't get the retracement, so we can take this off. So yeah, wow, Whiff is getting hammered. Absolutely hammered. Let me see here real quick. Yeah, where is my... Yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is the whiff chart I wanted to look at. So, yeah, let me see. Let me pull up some weekly naked points of controls here. I think we already pulled these up. Yeah, your weekly naked point of control sitting right down here at about 61 cents. I assume these blue boxes are not Fibonacci retracements. Interesting. Oh, this must be high-volume nodes. Let me see here. Yeah, so yeah, this kind of high-volume node here. Ripped right through it. Yeah, I mean, you have a little shelf of volume right here at about 89 cents. But again, it's really not significant, right? Doesn't mean you can't bounce off of it. But again, right, like you get this big range, high volume, little consolidation, high volume. Mrs. Candles, come in here. Mrs. Candles, we've never needed you more in our entire career. Mrs. Candles, Bitcoin is dumping. We need you. We need your hand in here. Oh, God, it's nice and cold, too. I'm so hot and sweaty. Oh, it's so comforting, guys. It's so comforting. I can feel the Bitcoin pump coming now. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, I got a little lick in there, too. It's hot in here, is it not? Shout out to Mrs. Candles. Thank you so much, Mrs. Candles. Hopefully you pump Bitcoin now. Yeah, you could turn the fan on. I'd appreciate that. All right, there we go. We got the fan pumping here, guys. Hopefully throw those Mrs. Candles hands in the chat, baby. Let's go. But there we go. Hopefully that Mrs. Candles hand sniff can pump up Peak and Bitcoin here. I don't know. It's a little suspicious. What do you think? Mrs. Candles, hang on. We need a Mrs. Candles prediction because I think you were right last time. Is Bitcoin... We need some serious TA here. No jokes. No jokes. All right. Bitcoin... Where does Bitcoin go first? Is Bitcoin going to 97,400 first, or are we going to go to 105 to 106 first? Okay, Mrs. Candles says 105 and 106. So Mrs. Candles wants the bigger retracement before the dump. We're going to record this. Mrs. Candles wants that. Okay, that's right? All right, shout out to... Yeah, it's right? Okay, yeah, shout out to Mrs. Candles. She said it's 100% going to be right. And what are you basing that off of? Money flow, Fibonacci retracement, liquidity? Yeah, mostly liquidity. And the VWAP. Okay, yeah, I like it. I like it. Mrs. Candles going off the VWAP. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, guys, you know the missus is always right, guys. Or the miss, I should say, technically. But, yeah, shout out to Mrs. Candles. Somebody clip it. If this is right, Mrs. Candles, you are 100%. We're getting you on the channel. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. All right. We'll see you soon. Thank you, Mrs. Candles. We appreciate you. All right. There we go. The VWAP, guys. You heard it here first. She said, I don't know what the actual thing is here, but she said VWAP says we're going up. Maybe she sees that 2-hour VWAP curling here. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, let's continue on here. I like her idea, except instead of it dumping after, I would like it to go sideways, then pump. Well, at least I hope. Shout out to Anthony Fonseca. Yeah, actually, I like her prediction as well, but hopefully we don't have to get the big dump. But yeah, here on WIF, guys, these are the next key levels I'll be looking at. Take a look at the VRVP here. So yeah, next. There we go, right? So just be careful because really, again, like, are we going to see this come back down? I mean, 2024, I mean, I know it seems like about a year ago, I guess. But, I don't like that. I don't like that big high volume node here, this big low volume gap here, guys. So hopefully we can hold this little spike in volume. If not, this weekly naked point of control, in my opinion, is probably going to be the more significant level here at about 61 cents. That's if we get the continuation down, but we'll have to see here. Yeah, we got some VWAPs. I mean, maybe she was right about the VWAP, even on WIF here. Yeah, that VWAP just getting hammered below that zero line. Absolutely insane. But yeah, pretty oversold here as well. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But those are the next key levels I'll be looking at on WIF. Pretty much everything getting destroyed here. Shout out to Bullish Bob. Says, Frankie, is it just me or is constant lower highs on Bitcoin top? Shout out to Bullish Bob. Bullish Bob, how dare you say that with a name like Bullish Bob? I'm just kidding. But yeah, I mean, listen. On a lower time frame, sure. right? But again, when you when you zoom out, right, there are no lower highs and lower lows, right? This is just a strong uptrend, bull market uptrend for sure, right? So you're not wrong, right? Lower highs, lower lows would indicate a continuation of a down. That is a downtrend, right? So you want to be the trend is your friend, but like a 4-hour downtrend, right, or a 2-hour, 30-minute, 5-minute downtrend would not indicate a macro top, right? For the higher time frame analysis, you would want to come up to something like the daily, the weekly, or really more the weekly and the monthly for like bull market analysis, right? So you can see here, obviously, this is a pretty intense uptrend. So there you go. Hopefully that helps you out. But yeah, you're not wrong. But no, that's why I would not say, if I were seeing something like this, that would be a little bit more scary. That would be a little bit more scary on a weekly or a monthly time frame. Where to find your volume profile settings again? Shout out to Steon. I'm sure I said that wrong. But you can check the beginner series. We have volume profile tutorials in there. It shows you all the settings and exactly how I trade these. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, we took a look at T. We took a look at HBAR, XRP, Solana. We took a look at Peak. Let's take a quick look at INJ. I saw some people shouting out INJ. Oh, actually, INJ pushing into our next zone of support here. So let's take a look here. We have our POC value area low. And again, we looked at this recently, right? We have two volume profiles right on top of each other, which is kind of wonky, right? But right now, I'm going to hide the upper range just because we are pretty much just in the lower range, right? Come in here, respect the range, right? And then we break out to the other range, and then we come back down in here, and now we are respecting this range, right? So you lost the value area high, you go to the POC, you lose the POC, you go to the low. 2-hour, no bullish divergence. Not really what I wanted to see there. I was kind of hoping we were going to get some bull divs down here. I might have even YOLO longed that on a tiny little scalp. But see, 12-hour VWAP coming up. Yeah, I mean, there's no confirmation really down here for anything that I would look for. Daily VWAP trying to roll up. But again, money flow is rolling out here, right? Money flow in the red. That makes us anticipate lower highs and lower lows to come in on price. The next place I would look to reject. Now, obviously, if you lose this range, start bearishly retesting, can't get back above, you could get the bigger drop to the downside. Kind of running out of, which we would be looking at this next little local volume profile down below, right? So just to give you guys a little bit of context here, if you get the bigger drop to the downside, so you lose that value area low. You would also be very close to losing that POC of the range. So yeah, let me just go ahead and, drop this in a folder here. Boom. And I'll keep this up. Okay, so the hope here would be to hold this value area low. Key level support 1763, right? If you can get above here, obviously the POC's key resistance at about 1860, flip that to support. That's your idea of where you would look to rotate the range. But again, market cipher B not really giving you any good confluence there, if I'm being quite honest with you, right? 1-hour money flow in the red, 4-hour money flow in the red. Yeah, not really too much. 8-hour money flow, 12 and 16-hour money flow. Everything is in the red here, so you have to be really careful. So if you did get some kind of a retracement, obviously, you could pull your local Fibonacci retracements. You could pull it from this swing high to the low. This one would be a little bit more significant, in my opinion, right? So, yeah, I mean, yeah, even if you, yikes. Yeah, I would be careful, right? Because if you do come into these local fibs, could get a little bouncy, right? Lower high, then lose the range and come on down to those lower prices. If you wind up losing this lower level here, I would simply be looking at your lower range, right? Because if you can't get accepted in there, you start losing it. You're also, if you look at this, right, as you're losing that value area low, you are also getting accepted into this lower range. I'm actually going to get rid of this blue box momentarily, temporarily. So if you lose that POC, right, you start losing that range, you're also getting accepted potentially into that lower range, looking down towards that POC at 1719, and then potentially looking for that drop down to the value area low at 1565. So if you wanted to look at it just in this context, this is probably a little bit cleaner in my opinion, right? Because you're already dropped into this range. If you get a retracement to the upside, let's pull from the local high to the low. Yeah, you could look at that. You might even want to, this one's confluent with the, this is like your hyper local fib. Again, you might not respect this. This is a lower probability level just based off the fact that it's more local. But these would be like two zones I would look to reject, either the fib pulled from this out of this low or this little wick to this low. I like this one because it's confluent with the value area high, right? So if we do get a bounce here, right, little bing bong, maybe put in another lower high and continue that drop down to the POC, lose that POC, look for that drop down towards the low at 1565. So those are the key levels. Value area high sitting at about 1840, POC sitting at 1720, and then your value area low sitting at 1565. So that's what I'd be looking at. Bada boom, bada bing. Oh, rip super chat. Shout out to XRP Shillbilly. Yo, what is going on, bro? Good to see you in here, man. Welcome in. But yeah, let me go check these super chats, guys, real quick. I didn't see any of them come in. I'm zoned in today, baby. Bitcoin's dumping, and we're zoned in. Let's see. Shout out to the Izzy. Welcome, or not welcome in, but thank you for the super chat. Says, we're definitely about to consolidate, but see a pump coming in the near future. Frank, what do you think of Onyx Coin pumping like crazy the past week? We will take a look at Onyx Coin. Bada boom, bada bing. Okay, yeah, let's see. Onyx. Shout out to Nirvana. Welcome to the Muscle Bro. And Baba Miles. Baba Miles, welcome to the Muscle Bro. Thank you for getting those memberships, guys. Fetch, shout out to DC. Yeah, we can take a quick look at Fetch. And shout out to XRP Pillbilly. XRP Shillbilly wants to see Griffin. Okay, I'll try to take a look at that. Virtuals, we could try. I'm going to try to get to all of these guys. We might run out of time here. And shout out to Tony D. Throwing singles, trying to make me shake that for $1. Shout out to Tony D. Let's go. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. I appreciate every single one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. Let's go ahead and check in on Onyx Coin. Let's see. I don't think we've looked at... Yeah, I don't think we have a chart here for XCN. But we could pull this. Yeah, so this is actually... All right, let's take a look here. So, obviously, strong uptrend. I'm just actually curious to look at this from the perspective of the volume profile. Hey, do you guys remember when I thought I got stung by a bee while I was live? I figured out what happened. And it's crazy. Stick around till the end of the video to find out. I'm just kidding. But really, I don't know why I just thought that, because it just happened again. If you guys remember, not too long ago, I thought I got stung by a bee. It literally felt like that. Turns out, this phone charger, I don't know what it is, but this phone charger lightly touched my leg and was just like electrocuting me slightly. Because it happened like 3 other times, and I was like, what the heck is going on? I thought I got burned or something, and I was just getting shocked by this phone charger. But anyway. Continuing on. That was super random. But hey, why else would you come to the Frank Candles live stream other than these random stories? But here we go. Bada boom, bada bing. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, this is kind of impossible to call, but, you know, massive low volume. It just goes to show, right? Like, you have all this volume down here. You would be looking at this as like, hey, once you crack above, you know, right here, or actually, I would say the shelf of volume is probably sitting like right here, about 0.0035. You could potentially look for quick moves up into where you have your last area of consolidation right here, where you have a little spike in volume. You can see you get hung up on that level just a little bit before flying back up to your next area where you had, you know, some kind of volume here. But again, not that I would be trading based off that, but just crazy. You know, those low volume gaps do wind up playing out, guys. Pretty crazy. But let's take a look here. So this has just been absolutely screaming to the upside lately. Let's see here. I mean, this looks much different than everything else, right? Like, I guess daily money flow technically coming out locally here. Nothing I would really write home about. 16-hour VWAP looking to come back to the upside. 12-hour green dot. No, not green dot. VWAP coming up slightly there. 8-hour green dot looking to print maybe sometime soon. Let's check that 4-hour green dot. So, yeah, 4-hour money flow is coming out. So I'm going to give you key levels on this. 15-minute in the red. Okay, so let's pull some levels here. I'll come over to the 4-hour. Actually, let's come over to the 1 hour. So, yeah, man, this is hard to pull profiles on, to be honest. Or should I say to be Onyx. Yeah, I mean, you can see these levels of respect. Like, PLC gets a nice bounce. Value area high gets a nice rejection. Again, it's not the cleanest range, to be honest. So, you know, it's not really what I would look for as, like, high probability trades necessarily. What I could do here is pull this as the uptrend. Yeah, that was your key point of control. Yeah, it's kind of hard. I can't really pull much of a volume profile here just because of the wonky nature of this price action, just like the aggressive trending nature of it. Like even that, right? Like you go from the high to low. Yeah, it's just not clean. It's not clean. So let me get you some naked points of controls here. See those weeklies. So you got a weekly naked point of control down here. Weekly MPOC. We got a weekly MPOC. This one is kind of already tapped, but it didn't register for some reason. You have another weekly. Actually, I'll pull up the monthly naked points of controls above. So let's pull up the monthlies. Man, how did that not negate that MPOC? That's literally tapped, no? Must have like missed it by $1. Yeah, crazy. So you do have this monthly MPOC, which you basically rejected. You got another 2 up here. And this would, I mean, just based off your candles here, I would expect that to be pretty big resistance because it's the only other kind of consolidation price action that you have here. But let's pull up some dailies as well. Okay, so you have a daily MPOC right hither. Daily. And you have like a ton of these dailies up here. Got another daily. I'll pull this local. Okay, so now let's take a look here. Now maybe I could try to pull some kind of a range. I mean, yeah, it's like impossible. It's impossible. It's like no clean ranges here. Like even this, right? It's like, yeah, it's like maybe you could look at this as a range. There's really no confluence here though. So let me go ahead and pull a fib, high to the low. Okay, so I would look at this. I'm not even gonna pull a profile. Daily naked point of control 786 retracement. That's going to be a key level because of the confluence with the MPOC. Golden pocket's worth paying attention to. This pocket here sits between 0.043 and 0.041. This, golden pocket is definitely a level I'd be watching. Between about 0.039 and 0.0385. And yeah, I mean, this daily naked point of control, I mean, I wish I can get a little bit more context here. I could pull this profile here. It's like the only visible kind of profile that I can pull. It's like the only one that makes sense. Probably pull it to like here. It's like not even a ton of confluence there, to be honest. I mean, you could bring that down to the value area low. So yeah, these will be the key resistance levels in my opinion. But if we pull up Market Cipher B real quick, give you an idea of what it's looking like on MCB. Take a look at the 8-hour green dot. Yeah, the only thing I don't love here is the fact that, you know, if you pull up your VPVR, pretty big gap here other than this high volume node. Is that not a daily naked point of control? No. Very interesting. That is very confusing to me. Yeah, I guess... Yeah. Where's the VPVR? Come on. There we go. Yeah. So, yeah, you have a little bit of a high volume node here at about 0.022. It's like really, so you could potentially look at this as a support level. This is sitting between about 0.023 and 0.022. So these are kind of, this is what I would look at, right? And again, I don't think this will line up, but yeah, like this POC level is huge. If you lose it, could come down to this value area low, but again, like I don't even really want to pull this, right? Like this is just a super, super wonky range. If I don't feel confident in it, I don't really want to give it out. But you know, you could look at it in this kind of context, right? You get back into the range, can't get back out, back to the POC, back to the high. Could be on your way back down to that POC. If you lose the POC, I'd probably be looking down closer to about 0.019. So you can screenshot these levels if you want. But again, this is a little bit harder to read, at least as far as the volume profiles go. So there you go. Let's see. All right, let's jump into Fetch real quick. We are running out of time very quickly here, but I want to try to speed through. Oh, God, Fetch actually go to 0. So, yeah, lost the range. So, next, I mean, this is a little bit cleaner, right? So, I could just pull this volume profile, right? And, like, even looking at the, yeah, like, it's crazy, right? Like, when it's clean, it's clean. You have your high, your POC, your value area low. I don't know why they're gold. It's because it was marking out those POCs, but we're just going to leave it there. But yeah, I mean, if you just look at this, right? There's your high volume node, your key level that you don't want to lose. This shelf of volume right here is really what you didn't want to lose, right? You lose that shelf of volume, you look for the quick drop through your gap. Technically, you have a little bit of a spike in volume right here, but for the most part, this entire thing is a low volume gap, pretty much leading you down to your next shelf, which would be sitting right here at about 92 cents, somewhat confluent with your value area high, right? So you do have some kind of confluence there. And I mean, these fibs are just completely wrecked, right? Yeah. So yeah, if you do continue down here, like your next zone of support, in my opinion, is going to be sitting here between 92 and 89 cents. You lose that, I'd be looking for a drop back down towards the POC. Lose the POC, go back down to the low. This is really your next support level, in my opinion, right? Like, there's really nothing below. Massive gap. This is where your volume starts back up, so I would not be surprised if you get that continuation down towards this next key level. And then again, not only is this key level support, but you know if you get stuck underneath it, you're probably going to fill that range, at least to the POC, but if not, to the value area low. Again, quick move up, quick move down. Very similar to what we looked at on Ethereum. So we'll see, right? Like, again, like, just take a look at this. All right, if you don't get the bounce out of here, right, or the bounce back into this range, you lose this, fall through the gap into that previous value area high, where that high volume node starts back up. We also have the 786 here on ETH, which is nice. But yeah, that's what I'd be looking at right there. So yeah, kind of a similar situation on Fetch. So there you go. From a market cipher perspective, it is going to be probably, if I had to guess, very similar to Ethereum. Yeah, money flow in the red. 3-day. You don't have the bear divs, like kind of similar to Ethereum. You don't have the bearish divergences on the higher time frames. But money flow is all in the red here. Your 5-day money flow in the red. Weekly money flow crossing over into the red. This is not a good sign, in my personal opinion. Weekly money flow crossovers, guys, are not what you want to see, right? All-time highs. Weekly money flow crossover. This is typically what I look for to accumulate in bear markets, right? I wait for that first drop after the red money flow wave, right? And then that's where I accumulate, right? Or I try to DCA on the way down, DCA at the bottom, maybe DCA a little bit on the way up. And then once we break out, I kind of cut that off and then, ride it into the bull market. But we are now getting another weekly money flow crossover. This is not the best look, in my opinion. Now, again, we could fake out, right? Like, your hope here is, like, you must get this weekly money flow to fake out back into the green if we want this bull market to continue, because a weekly money flow crossover's no joke. Like, even locally here, you can see we faked out into the green here. Faked out into the green, back into the red. You get a significant continuation down, but it just puts in a higher low. But again, that was like right after the bear market, right? So like that's not as alarming. Like we've already gotten a pretty massive rip up. So yeah, this would make me anticipate a continuation to the downside, right? If you lose this local range here, could be looking closer to about 74 to maybe 50 cents. But that's, if you lose this range. You do have these levels underneath you to potentially hold up as support. So, locally, I'd look for a move down to this value area high volume node confluence, sitting between 92 and 89 or 90 cents. So there we go. Shout out to Wick 589 says, stop trying to make fetch happen, Frankie. It's not going to happen. Mean Girls. Shout out to Wick 589. I do get the reference, Wick. I assume, I've only met Wick one time in person. I assume we're probably around the same age. So yeah, we grew up probably at least in the same generation. So I totally get the reference, baby. Let's go. Okay. Let's see. Let's check out. All right. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Yikes. What is this? I don't really know anything about this. Griffane? I will say this, though. You do have yeah, I'll just give you this. I'll give you this volume profile because this is pretty clean. Got your high. You got your POC. You got your value area low. Change this. Change this to Nooch. So there we go. Yeah, look at that. Push right down. Tap that POC. Yeah, so right now, yeah, these levels are respected. This is actually not a bad chart to look at. This is kind of clean, right? Because, for me personally as a volume profile trader, this is something that I like to see, right? Like, nice, clean ranges, right? Even up here, nice, clean range. So I like to see that. But as of right now, even if you pulled this as a I wouldn't pull this as a full profile, but I guess you probably can, yeah. So you even look at that as a larger profile. You lost the profile. You look for the next area of balance down below. You tap that value area high, get a little bounce. Excuse me. And now you're getting below that value area high, or you've lost the value area high. Where'd you go? Right down. Where'd you go? I miss you so. So you lose that value area high, and then you get that move right down towards that POC. So as of right now, we'll see what happens, but your key level here is the POC at 23 cents. You lose that, could get the bigger drop down towards about 19 cents. And that's just the way the volume profile crumbles here. Now, let's pull a higher time frame here real quick. Let's pull from this low to the high. Yeah, you're losing that 786. I mean, if you pull it over all your price action. So, yeah, this POC is very important. If you lose this POC, I'm looking down towards 19.6. 0.196. That is your next key level of support. Daily VWAP is rounding up nicely. I don't have any money flow on this chart, unfortunately, so I can't really tell you what money flow is doing, right? Yeah, zero money flow here. Lack of price action. But that VWAP coming up, your best chance for a bounce is that green dot, in my opinion. But if you lose that POC, definitely looking down towards that value area low at 19.6. Other than that, yeah, I mean, like all that money flow, like 8 hour in the red, 10 hour in the red, 12 hour crossing into the red, right? So this would make you anticipate the continuation of a downtrend, right? Potentially to see something like that. Yeah, you don't have any beautiful confluence here on your value area high. But yeah, like you would want to get out of your value area high here at 26 cents. But again, as long as you remain in this range, I would look at this as a potential loss, acceptance into the range, loss of the POC, move down to 19.6. We'll see. I mean, your best bet here is that daily green dot. But again, with the way money flow looks like on the higher hourly time frames, I don't know. I would still probably be looking at that as a lackluster retracement for a continuation down. At this point, right? Things can change. But as of right now, looking very similar to everything else. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. We go to 94K tomorrow and then rip back up to 109K by next week. Shout out to Eugene Sky. That's kind of what I'm hoping, or that's kind of what I'm looking at, I should say. Wouldn't say I'm necessarily hoping for it. But yeah, 94. Let me see here. Let's see here. I like to see when there's confluence. Yeah, I mean, yeah, we do have a weekly here at 94.5. So yeah, that could be a level to look at, right? That's actually our confluent level for bounces, right? So if we pull up the, where is it? Bada boom, right? So you have the 786 and the weekly 786 coming down to 93C. Yeah, so it's right in that zone, right? So again, I would prefer to hold the golden pocket. That would be nicer, but definitely a possibility to put that higher low in at that 786 before coming back up to all-time highs. Definitely a plausible possibility. All right, let's see. Let's check out virtuals. Whoops. Okay, let's take a look here. So, okay, wow, look at that. Who knew, guys? Who knew? We're at our key level. Value area high. I think we looked at this yesterday. What was yesterday? Yesterday was the 27th, 7 p.m. Yeah, so we were bing-bonging around here. And yeah, key level here at the value area high, 183. Now, again, keep in mind here, guys, money flow tanking. Right, like this would make you anticipate the continuation of lackluster pushes to the upside, lower highs, and continuations down. Next key level, POC, 155. Definitely going to be a big level to watch if you do wind up breaking back into this range. But as we tap this value area high, VWAP coming up on the daily, if you can get that green dot before we get accepted into this range, that bounce might happen first, right? But again, I would definitely be looking at that as potential lackluster retracements. Yeah, I would probably be looking at local retracements at this point. So yeah, I would be very careful on these fibs if you get a bounce at the value area high for lower highs and continuations down. Where are those lower highs likely to come in at? Golden pocket 786. This one particular is sitting between 218 and 208. Right, so I'll make that purple. Right, so come in, potential lower high before the drop down, and then once you lose that value area high, I'd be looking at that POC. Now, do you have any significant confirmations for a bounce here? I mean, you do have the 1 hour bull div confirmed. I don't know how much that's going to give you with the money flow this deep in the red, to be quite honest. But yeah, a little turbulence here is not unlikely. But once you lose that value area value area high, and you can't get back above, if you get the daily green dot, maybe you get the retracement, right? But if not, and you just get stuck underneath here, you could get just that continued grind down to the POC at 155. And then at that point, it's a game of this volume profile. So yeah. I wish I could tell you that you're getting mega bullish confirmations. I mean, this 4-hour bull div might be something that can give you a move up as well. Higher lows on your momentum waves, lower lows on your price action into that key level of support. Could give you the bounce. But again, context here would be lower highs and continuations down. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Golden Child said, didn't you read my post? I got nothing left. I'll give you my youngest kid for a free super chat. Shout out to Golden Child. All right, Golden Child, free super chat. Golden says, please, for the love of God, Frankie, Kadena, please. I leveraged my house and my dog. I'm going to have to sell my kids now to move. All right, we'll take a quick look at KDA here. We don't want a Golden Child to sell his Golden Child. So we'll take a quick look at Kadena here. Let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. I will say, guys, I didn't get wrecked today, but I did get stopped out before price went in my direction, which sometimes feels worse than getting wrecked. It's like, I was right, but they stopped me out. Oh, my God. I don't care. I don't care, guys. I don't care. I promise. It's not a big deal. It doesn't bother me. I don't care about missed gains are none of my business, guys. I'm just kidding. But anyway, let's take a look here. Take a look at the daily. Man. Okay. Let me take a look. What is this? Let's take a look at the okay, I knew we had a Kadena chart here. All right. So yeah. All right. So, your golden pocket didn't hold. You lost your golden pocket. You came to the 786. You got the bounce, and now you are retapping that 786 and losing it. So that's not really a great thing, right? Next key level would be this daily at about 65 cents. If you lose that 65-cent daily, the next significant level of support is going to be that POC. And again, just in terms of your volume profile, lose the value area high, look for that move towards the POC, right? So this is kind of a whole zone of support. You have 2 daily naked points of controls, another daily horizontal there with the point of control. So you could look at this as like kind of a bigger zone of support. So yeah, that would be pretty much what I would be looking at. You're losing all your fib levels here. So this is your next chance for a bounce. But again, if you lose these daily naked points of controls, moving down towards that value area low is not impossible, sitting at about 42 cents. So yeah, the best bet here would be to wiggle down into these zones to get a bounce, right? But if you lose that, I'd definitely be looking for the bigger drop down. Market Cipher B, 2-day money flow crossover into the red. Yeah, this is looking the same as everything else on Market Cipher, unfortunately. Money flow all in the red. Yeah, you could argue you have potential bull divs here, but it's not something I would be actively trading off of. I would just be waiting to come into this zone, reassess the situation, maybe come take these lows, and then see what we do in here to see if we can get the bounce. But it is the danger zone, because once you lose it, looking down towards that value area low. So these are definitely shout out the Golden Child. These are the key levels I would be looking at if you want to screenshot those and get them on your chart. But this money flow on the daily, still would make me anticipate lackluster bounces to the upside for continuations down. Until proven otherwise, unless this thing yoinks back into the green, that's kind of the bias that I would be looking at, right? So not impossible to bounce, but you'd be looking for those lower highs and continuations down. So yeah, shout out to Kadena. Yikes. Sad day, guys, sad day. But it's okay, guys. We got ups and downs in this market, and I always like to show you guys when we zoom out the higher time frame context, especially on Bitcoin, right? Like, when in doubt, zoom out, guys. Like, nothing too crazy, right? Like, we're just kind of bing-bonging around here. It's not really, I know the alts are getting wrecked. But, as far as, the market leader here, right? It's not like we're seeing Bitcoin, like, nuking past 50K, right? That would be very alarming. Yeah, with that being said, we do have it looks like Bitcoin might be firing warning shots for a bigger drop to the downside if we see that weekly bearish divergence confirm on the 5-day. But in general here, guys, even if I don't pull up the volume profiles. I mean, you guys know POC Golden Pocket, that's the next key level of support we'll be looking at. We lose that, looking down towards the weekly 786 for the bounce. If not, going down to the value area low. But I will just say this. If we just pull up our weekly naked points of controls, the high time frame points of controls, guys, you could see, right? Up here, 2 daily nakeds, key level to be looking at because of the confluence with our Golden Pocket. Right, so again, for me, that's going to be a big level to look at for bearish confirmations for potential continuations down if we get down there. But just looking at these naked points of controls, guys, our next significant NPOC to the downside, at least from a weekly standpoint, 96.4, right? Pulling up our profile, confluent with that Golden Pocket, confluent with that POC, right? So if all these levels confuse you, you could just kind of look at these MPOCs, right? Like if we continue down, right, this is the lower high. We break structure to the downside. This is the zone to be looking at, right? If we get the move up, next zone to be looking at, 104 to 100 and almost $6,000 for a potential lower high and continuation down. So if we come up first, I'll be looking for shorts here. If we come on down first, I will be looking for longs down in the zones that we mentioned previously, and down towards this weekly naked point of control. But if you want the tactile levels, I'll just pop them up on the chart, so you guys can get them on your own charts here. But if you missed the Bitcoin TA, go ahead and check out the beginning of the stream because we went over everything. But guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time we got for tonight's live stream. I appreciate every single one of you guys for sticking around and hanging out with us till the end of the stream. Thank you all for tuning in. Shout out to Spaceland, guys. Hopefully, again, we may see that continuation down, but you guys now have my full thoughts on price action and how I'm handling it. I wish that I was. I wish I didn't get stopped out of that short today. So I'm feeling a little bit of pain too. Well, not really pain, but I'm feeling FOMO. I'm feeling FOMO, guys. Shout out to CJ says, I don't know what alts will look like. Can't imagine what alts will look like if BTC drops to the 80,000s. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. Shout out to Rana. Said I missed his super chat. Why am I missing so many super chats today? Shout out to Rana. Said just picked up 15K USDT worth of TIA. Frankie is a G. Yo, shout out to Rana, bro. Thank you for the super chat. And hey, Rana, if that was your first time buying TIA, you now have a lower entry price than I do. Now, hopefully, it doesn't go to zero. But we'll see. We are at support right now, but if we drop back down, we have that low volume gap on TIA. So be careful, guys. Be careful. But we'll see what happens, and we'll check back in on the alts and obviously Bitcoin tomorrow. Like I said, Tony D, correct me if I'm wrong. I will be on Randy's show tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. Come hang out with us, and I'll try to stream FOMC if I'm free, if I'm not on her show. But if I am, come hang out with us there. If not, I'll try to go live for FOMC because be careful, guys. It's about to get crazy out there. So buckle up, set your stop losses, and be very careful because the volatility is very likely incoming. So with all that being said, guys, thank you all for tuning in. I love each and every single one of you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the likes. Smash a like on your way out. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Spit shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, I can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Come on. Pump it.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like, yeah, you about to see me on demand like, you know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out.